Hi, my name's David Sanders, and I'm looking today at the topic of is punishment an effective behaviour modification strategy in children? We're going to do an article review. We're going to look at Gershoff et al. From 2010 entitled Parent Discipline in an International Sample, Associations with Children with Child Behaviour and Moderation by Perceived Normativeness. Before we look straight into the article, just give a little bit of background and context. So learning, what is learning? Learning is a change in our capacity for behaviour as a result of particular kinds of experiences. Why is it important to understand children's learning? I guess because it's key development years for internalising values and behaviours, emotional development, developing a sense of self, and so on. Punishment? Punishment can be defined as an outcome or consequence of a behaviour that weakens the probability of that behaviour happening again. So you've got positive punishment and negative punishment. Positive, where a stimulus is presented. Scolding and smacking are examples of that. And negative, removing of a stimulus, for example, time out or removing a toy. Links between punishment and behaviour in children. Back from the 60s, you've got clinical studies in immediate compliance, so i.e. You can punish and get an immediate behavioural change. But I guess this study and many of these many studies in the area are really looking at the longer term or the adverse impacts of punishment on children, which are aggression, child anxiety, cognitive development, and a host of others are being studied at the moment. Rationale of the article is sought to provide a broader international context, sought to broaden the study of punishment beyond just corporal punishment, which a lot of studies were centred on, to 11 discipline techniques, and sought to determine whether there are any international universal learnings across countries. So aims of the study: better understanding the prevalence of 11 types of disciplines across 6 countries and how they impact aggression and anxiety. Determine whether links between certain discipline techniques and behaviours were similar across countries, and also understanding whether there was any normative moderating effects by country. So the discipline techniques are there at the bottom of the page. Hypothesis: there was 2. Association between discipline techniques and children's aggression and anxiety will be consistently present across different countries and cultures. And secondly, high normativeness will only moderate techniques that are most likely to be experienced as negative events by the child, namely yelling and corporal punishment. So the study itself, method and design, participants, there were cross-sectional study, mothers and children, there was no fathers involved, 292 children from 336, children 8 to 12 with an average of 10 and a half, mix of boys and girls, from 6 countries: China, India, Italy, Kenya, Philippines and Thailand. Procedures were, it was questionnaire based, in-house for an hour, with a child and mother in different rooms. Measures, what it looked to measure in the study were maternal discipline techniques. So it looked at the prevalence of 11 techniques over the last 12 months and frequencies, the normativeness of discipline techniques in the particular country and community that they were in, and also child behaviours around aggression and anxiety through a behavioural checklist. Modelling and analysis looked at multi-level and fixed effect regression models to work out relationships between dependent and independent variables. In terms of results of the study, using corporal punishment, expressing disappointment and yelling or scolding were all related to increased aggression in children, and giving timeouts, using corporal punishment, expressing disappointment and shame were all related to increasing anxiety amongst children. In terms of normativeness, there was, I guess, 2 little insights. One, little evidence that the association of these discipline techniques and children's behaviour differed across country, i.e. they were quite similar. And for children, normativeness created a moderating effect where the discipline technique was seen to be more culturally normal for them. So in conclusion, the study provided further evidence that there is association between punishment and children's childhood aggression and anxiety. Of the 11 discipline techniques, 3 discipline techniques contributed to increased child aggression and 4 to child anxiety. The research also found that there was links between discipline techniques and aggression and anxiety across countries, and that children experience some moderating impact of discipline techniques depending on where they were. Just to provide some critical analysis, I guess method and design, the participants, as stated before, I guess one of the issues with the data was there's no longitudinal data. Um, the sample size was actually quite small. It's around 300. It could probably go to more countries and a mix of demographics, and also the inclusion of fathers would be critical in my view. Procedures questionnaire based, and I think including observational data would be helpful there going forward. In terms of results, look, the results were certainly they followed on from the methodology pretty well, and they made sense. It would just be a question of whether the sample size was different or diverse, which may impact the results. And of course, the conclusions just followed on pretty smoothly and naturally from the results, so they were all good as well. In terms of a summary and future directions, I guess the summary is this article added to the work in the area of childhood punishment and behaviour, provided a fresh international perspective. The study supported many previous studies on the connection between punishment and children's behaviour. It confirmed the connections across countries and found that some moderating impact of normativeness. In terms of future directions, I guess further extension of the research method and design employed in this study will hopefully continue to reveal further insights, and so hopefully that happens. So here's some references, and that was a quick presentation of my article, and thank you for watching.